Today we're going to take a look at 5 winter buying tips in West Hartford, Connecticut. One of the cool things about buying a home in the wintertime is it gives the buyer a chance to see the home during a season that causes a lot of strain. It allows you to evaluate how a home stacks up against some of the toughest times of year firsthand before making that buying decision. You know, the summer is in the spring are great times to buy. However, the weather isn't as harsh, so it is hard to get a true test of a home when you're buying in that season. So that is, in my opinion, is one of the main advantages of buying in the wintertime. I went ahead and listed the top 5 that I've seen that is really an asset to buyers in making this decision this time of year for you to consider. A, to create awareness. B, if you are a buyer, make sure to go through this checklist as you're looking at homes, if you get into an inspection, final walkthrough, etc. So if the video is helpful, click subscribe. That's one of the ways that I can tell if this type of content resonates with you. And if you have questions, don't be shy. We get calls, texts, emails all the time from people watching these videos. My team and I, we're always excited to get them and happy to help. So the first thing I wrote down is you get a close look at how the home handles cold weather. Is it drafty, right? Are certain rooms colder than others? How long does it take the heating system to ramp up, if at all? You know, one of the biggest seasons for HVAC repairs is that early winter time when the heating system has been off all summer. The homeowner clicks it on that first really cold day that taxed the system. That's when you really determine the efficiency and the age of the system when repairs need to be done. So the cold weather allows you to see how it's working. The second thing I wrote down is you get to see how the roofing system, the gutter system handles really tough weather. Ice dams, heavy snow, these are things we deal with here in West Hartford in the Northeast. And if a roof is older or has a lot of pitches and valleys, sometimes the ice can build up, the heavy snow can build up, it can back up under the shingles and cause leaks. So if you're looking in the wintertime, you get an opportunity to see how is the roof holding up, with the heavy ice, with the heavy snow. Are there new leaks forming? It gives you some inside information that you certainly wouldn't have, any other time of year. So definitely check the roof and the gutter system and make sure there's no leaks as you're going through a home in the winter. The third thing I wrote down, snow removal. This is often overlooked. There is a lot of older homes. There is a lot of tight neighborhoods here. And there's not a lot of place to put the snow, right? So if you're a house that is using a plow, you get to see, okay, where are they plowing the snow? How big are the piles? Is there enough room, right? How long can this driveway sustain the snow amount that keeps piling up? Where do you put the snow? The second thing are the streets, right? It gives you a chance to actually drive through the neighborhood and the streets. How are they plowed right away? Are they plowed at all? Are they narrow? Is it wide, right? You get a feel for how that snow is handled. Sidewalks, right? Can you still use the sidewalks? Yes, homeowners are supposed to remove snow on their own sidewalk. At the same time, actually driving through it the day after a snowstorm gives you a feel for how fast that neighborhood gets things up to speed, right? Again, this is something that can't be done in the summertime, but if you're buying in the winter, it gives you a first-hand perspective. The fourth thing I wrote down is basement moisture and or water. One of the biggest causes for flooding here in West Hartford, which is known for a high water table in general. There are a lot of sub pumps here. West Hartford is known to have wet basements here and there. One of the reasons for that is the water table's high. So when you get in the winter and the snow starts to stack, and you get a hot day and it starts to melt, and then there's a rainstorm, and now you're adding rain on top of the melting, that is when, if the house does get water in the basement, that's when it's at its most susceptible. So if you're buying in the winter, especially the early stages of the winter or the later, when you do get those warmer rainy days mixed in, it gives you an opportunity to see how the home's basement holds up to moisture, to water, if anything's getting in. Those signs will be there more readily those times of year than say in the summer. And then the fifth thing I wrote down is commuting times. Anybody that's watched my pros and cons video knows that in general, West Hartford is, one of the negatives is the traffic. You know, there are a lot of stoplights. The city is a grid, which is great, it's convenient, but it can take a long time to get from point A to point B. There's 64,000 people that live here. There are a lot of people on the streets. So now, when you tie weather into that, plows, salt, ice, etc., it can tax traffic even more, make traveling even more difficult. So again, especially if you're not from the area and you're looking in the winter, get out there and drive some of these neighborhoods the day after a snowstorm. Obviously, make sure the roads are safe, but see how traffic is impacted on your daily commute or in the area of town you're looking for. This will give you a good feel for if you have to make significant concessions on time during these times of year. So the weather, to me, really creates an opportunity for buyers who are looking this time of year to see firsthand how a home deals with. There's no question that the winter in New England is the most taxing on a home. Yes, the summer's hot, you have your central air system, that's important there. But in terms of yard maintenance, exterior, interior maintenance, this time of year puts the most stress on a home's systems in general. So there's really no better time of year to check it out. So if you're one of those buyers that is looking in the wintertime, truly use this as an opportunity. Spend a little extra time, drive in the neighborhood, taking a look at the home when it's a snowstorm. Take advantage of that when it's safe, of course, and the roads are clear to get out there. Take advantage to drive through neighborhoods and the homes you're looking at or have an eye on, to see how it's stacking up on the exterior. And on the interior, don't be afraid to ask those questions to the inspector or your agent to get a little more information on the ice dams, heating systems, those types of interior concerns as well. So hope this helps prepare you the next time you look at a neighborhood or a home here in town. And if you have questions on a house in particular, the value of your home, or even if it's a small question in general and you're just starting your search, again, don't be shy. My team and I, we get calls all the time from people who watch these videos. Make it a great day.